Okay, update number 2 here, and as you saw by the heading that I put up here, a new grifter is back in town. New grifter is rode into town, and it's Dan Bongino. He accomplished virtually nothing as assistant director of the FBI. He lied to all of us and said Epstein killed himself and there's nothing to see here, after being out there as a podcaster and saying there's definitely something going on, we need to look into this and everything is really shady. Then he sits there with Kash Patel and says there's nothing to see here, everything's perfectly fine, and yeah, he killed himself, case closed, and they didn't traffic anybody except to themselves. So this lying piece of shit is now going to walk back to a show where he's got, he's just going to walk back into 1 million followers, his Bongino army, who are just going to eat the slop he's going to come up with. He already went on, he did an early little hello last night, and I forced myself to watch it. It was absolute trash. And he went on with somebody that's kind of, he has a couple people that are heading up his show. Vince on Rumble, who's a talentless hack. I have no idea who that asshole is. This other woman, and I'll try and look her up and show you. He came on, he did a little surprise, sort of a surprise. She announced it on her show. But did a little bit of a surprise cameo, came on to just spout bullshit and do nothing. Let me get this one here. And by the way, on his pages, he is being absolutely trolled. Absolutely trolled.
Day.
So, let's see where this begins.
In the administration. It is unbelievable. Yeah, I wrote a couple of just quickies down. Both born Charlie publicly, like everyone else, and
talks about how sad he is with Charlie, even though the FBI can't figure out the investigation about. Is it Tyler Robinson? Did he have help? What's going on?
That was he was not only a friend but a good friend.
It's hard to hear because he goes into his fake solemn voice.
In the movement, you know, and Charlie made everyone feel special. So
okay.
2 FBIs, and I'll talk about this a lot more in my first show. But there's the guys out there with the door kickers going out there getting bank robbers, getting, you know, VCAT cases, violent crimes against children, working white collar, working violent crimes, working counterterror, working counter espionage. You know, tech guys. We have, you know, divert agents, SOG agents, surveillance agents, and then there was the politically weaponized group, and they had to go. You know, like, okay, well, that's easy. Well, the problem is who's in what group.
Right.
They don't come out and tell you. No one comes out and advertises. It's like, hey, I was part of this. So Cash and I.
How do you find? How do you root out the corrupt guys?
Well, it was not easy. We had this.
I mean, he's sweating. He's wide-eyed. It's like he's on drugs.
Investigate.
It was really odd.
Investigate, say a problem, find the perpetrators involved, and take action. And it sounds like a simple battle plan, but it was not as easy as we thought. And it took a little bit.
And I want to get, aside from his bullshit about what a good job they didn't do jack shit. And, you know, he comes in and does his regular shtick. He's talking to the team and looking at memorabilia he has there, you know, trying to be cool guy. I mean, it's all, it was cringe. It was absolute fake bullshit to watch.
Considering Mamdani's policies,
so this Haley Karina is the one that's been kind of running his show or his time slot for him. There's also Vince who sucks.
I never oppressed black.
You know, I'm supposed to be eating the mic. How you been?
I've been great.
When he first shows up.
It's great to see you, and I was gonna say, it's a little weird that we were kind of 2 ships passing in the night, where I came on and we were talking about me starting this show way before
the comments are absolutely just.
I didn't know. I mean,
the whole thing was comments absolutely trolling him and attacking him.
It's not in the, what do they say, the bingo card? Like, I never had. Like,
no idea, right?
By the way, you know, the president calls though and asks you to serve. You know, the only answer is yes. But I got to tell you, I did feel bad because I knew the Bongino army. You guys and ladies out there are freaking rock stars. Like, I love you to death. You have no idea. And,
yeah, you fucking let them all down. You scammed them. You grifted them. You're a piece of shit. I love you guys. Keep that money coming in. Keep that money coming in for the grift.
I know, it's not even on my channel, so wait till our channel comes back. But I felt
wait till it comes back, asshole.
This is how I know
wait till the fucking people. He's blocked like
you could have said, "Hey, I didn't sign up for that."
At this point, he's blocked like half of X because everyone's just going on his page and shitting on him and calling him a liar and a piece of shit. And he's just fucking like a pussy. He's blocking everybody.
Really like high level, top level broadcaster. Your show's amazing. I watch it, and it's just. Like you said, I think it's just good to be...
zero Epstein arrest, zero deep state. Dan is someone who watches your show almost every day. You have a lot to explain. What the fuck? Make millions talking about the deep state, how Epstein was working for the Israelis. Comes out praising Israel and denying that Epstein was killed. What a fucking retarded clown. Zero deep state arrests. Imagine talking for 10 years about taking down the deep state. Going to the FBI for a year pretending you didn't fail.
Oh, not
I
at
just
all.
saw the crazy cat lady thing, and
I wish Dan hadn't taken the FBI job. He totally destroyed and fucked his credibility. I loved the show and was massive before he took the job, and sad to see him go. I believed he would make a difference, but along with the millions and the BS that was coming from him in that job was disgusting and massive betrayal to his base in MAGA. Listening to his scripted BS with the stupid dumbass bitch just sounds fake to me with his fucking fake laugh. I'm horrified and disgusted. Bongino is full of shit. Dan, nothing to see here, Bongino. You are a disgrace. You should be ashamed, you puppet. Dan is a clown. Epstein killed himself. Dan Bongino, quote. Yeah, I mean, it goes on and on and on. He's been fucking trolled hardcore.
We always had planned for the first year. So, it's funny. Like,
and the X as well. Let me see here. Dan Bongino. He goes, good to see you all. I missed you. Thanks for everything while we worked on cleaning up. Working in the administration with the experience of a lifetime. I'll have some announcements coming up, but I'm taking a couple of days to spend with the family. A couple of things. Thanks you for your interest in the show and its return date. We'll have something for you soon. The Trump team is not kidding around. It's an otherworldly experience from the other side. He's determined and focused, and I've been around quite a few presidents. This one broke the mold. If we blocked you, it's because we care so little about your bullshit that we deem it not worthy of even seeing. If you're bitching and whining about it, that means you can't exist without seeing and commenting on ours. You'll need to get over that. We do it because there's nothing black pillars and anti-Trumpers want more than to create division and drama. We're about results, and we'll talk more about some of that soon. Love you all. So, the black pillars are only calling out bullshit artists like you. The fake pieces of shit like you. And you don't like it, and you're such a fucking pussy, you're blocking everybody that says anything. That's the real deal. So I put up this line, Grifter's going to come back into a base of 1 million followers he doesn't deserve, spout some slop and bullshit about how he can't talk about most of what he did, but they did great. Throw a couple stories at you to tug at your heartstrings, then sit back and wait for the money to roll in from the Bongino army. Sassafras comes on, welcome back down, burn it all down. Burn what down? He didn't fucking do anything. Captain Patriot, he didn't do a thing. What is happening? You say burn it all down? He was literally in the position to burn it all down, and within a week he was saying Epstein killed himself. You aren't a serious person. This is insane. This is why, and I've talked about it on the show, these fake conservative accounts, these fake patriots that are telling you the real deal, and then they're losing their mind because a fake grifting piece of shit like Dan Bongino is coming back, and they're super excited, and they want to hear about all the fake news and bullshit that he didn't do and can't talk about. So you're going to get nothing. He's going to go back to his bullshit show, spouting bullshit while claiming he's giving you the real deal and he's a straight shooter. And you're all going to get fucking grifted. He's the male Candace Owens. That people need to wake the fuck up. He's a fucking liar, expect lies. I can't wait for him to tell the story about how Trump blew the mandate all over his face. You mean you can't wait to hear him lie to you? I bet you fell for that. I'll only put the tip in many times. Really? The guy had to sign NDAs. He will blow more smoke up our asses and expect us to believe him. Don't hold your breath. Can't wait to hear how he protected the pedophiles he said he was going to go after. Maybe he's one of them. He didn't when he was in the administration. What makes you think he'll do anything from the outside? Laughing my ass off. He isn't going to say anything. He's a Zionist deep state masters don't like. He can't say a damn thing due to national security reasons. Unfortunately, Dan has been castrated at this point. I don't see much coming from his result. Again, it goes on and on and on. He is getting absolutely trolled and destroyed. I said this early on when he went to go become deputy director of the FBI. if he did not do a good job as deputy director, if he did not have a laundry list of accomplishments, I said, don't come back to podcasting. Becoming deputy director was nothing more than a PR stunt. He claims on this show that I was showing you that the plan was always to only do it for 1 year and then leave and go back to podcasting. You know what that is? It's a PR stunt. It's a YouTube video. It's like a Mr. Beast video. It's all for show and tell. It's bullshit. He bullshitted all of you and everyone, his Bongino sucker army. He fucking bullshitted you, all of you. Now he's going to come back to his podcast, claim he did this awesome job and everything was great, and he's going to start racking in the money from all the donations from the Bongino army. I like Mark Dice here. He had some things to say.
Expected to return to his podcast today after quitting as the deputy director of the FBI, the second in command of the Federal Bureau of Incompetence, after less than a year. But instead of becoming a whistleblower and telling the American people how pathetic Kash Patel, the poop-throwing diversity hire head of the FBI is, and how incompetent Pam Bondi is, who isn't even fit to run a Starbucks, let alone the Department of Justice, both of whom continue to cover up the Epstein files. Remember when she duped a bunch of Twitter personalities into coming to the White House?
DC Drano and those other retards
in
the White House
documents, which actually were redacted, unlike the
with the Bongino list, the Epstein list that had information we all already knew.
Released the Epstein files, but no, Dan Bongino is returning to take on the black pillars and the grifters, trying to quote hijack MAGA. Black pill, for those of you who don't know, is like a millennial term that the Zoomers really kind of took a hold of. Meaning that someone is just kind of disillusioned and, kind of just frustrated with everything. So Dan Bongino, a guy in his 50s, trying to sound like a Zoomer. He's taking on the black pillars. And he spent half the day yesterday in his big return to Twitter attacking Matt Gaetz, calling him an anti-Semite, and retweeting none other than Mark Levin. So it gives you a little preview of what the new Dan Bongino is going to be.
Dan Bongino, the sellout shill piece of shit.
Video, but real quick, subscribe to my channel if you're new here, because you're not going to find independent and politically incorrect analysis like this anywhere else. Bongino spent half the day yesterday posting cringe memes, trying to hype up his return to his podcast, portraying himself as some sort of a hero like Braveheart. But the cringe didn't stop there. It culminated with him posting this deepfake meme depicting him as the gladiator. Okay, proudly returning to his podcast because he's a hero, instead of staying in a position of power and authority where he could direct criminal investigations into the deep state, into the Democrats. He's joining his podcast studio to complain
tells
about
you everything
how
you
corrupt
need
the
to know.
government is from behind a microphone. He also spent half the day blocking people who were critical of him and mocking him, as this user noted by posting this infamous video
blocking
and
people
captioning
today.
it, Dan Bongino blocking people today. After former Congressman Matt Gaetz joined in on the mockery, pointing out that Bongino had lost 3 attempted congressional campaigns, Bongino responded by calling him an anti-Semite and a piece of crap, and insinuating that Matt Gaetz was involved in Epstein-like activities, which was an Israeli and Democrat smear against Gaetz, which was fully investigated even by the Biden FBI and Department of Justice, and they found that Gaetz did nothing wrong. But Dan Bongino is recycling that Israeli smear and retweeting, like I said, Mark Levin of all people, and a Mark Levin tweet, I guess all Mark Levin tweets about the woke Reich. There's this term that a bunch of neocons have been using lately. They're trying to get to stick, called the woke right. And a play on words is the woke Reich.
The woke Reich.
And they're depicting
Mike Levin. I don't know what's going on here, but it's Mike Levin.
Israel as a 51st state, or as
I used to
the
like
greatest
him.
country
He's
in the world,
another
like Ben
fucking
Shapiro,
fake American. Israel first.
Nazi. You are an anti-Semite. In case you didn't know what Dan Bongino's top priority in his life and his business is.
Here's this one. This clip when he was doing a Q&A for one of his books. He's there with his wife. He's taking questions. and he tells you everything you need to know about Dan Bongino. That he's not America first, he's another country first.
When he launched his book Spygate years ago, talking about the corruption of the deep state, during an audience Q&A with his wife. So, to be clear, this was not some, like, Israeli podcast as he's shilling his book. This was his podcast, which was sponsored by a collectibles company, Premier Collectibles, in order to sell his autographed copies of his book. So this is his podcast with his wife fielding questions from the viewers, and this is his response to this interesting question.
What cause is dear to your heart?
Cause is dear to my Israel. Defense of Israel.
What is number?
Okay.
Israel, the defense of
Number one
Israel. That's
answer
near and dear to his heart.
looks like a
Being an
hostage
American,
battle
you stupid bastard, wouldn't it
defense
be
of Israel. Not
America?
saving America, restoring
Maybe?
the republic, stopping the border, exposing the deep state, supporting the Republican agenda.
Here was him,
the CIA,
like
including
a year or two back on Timcast, talking about this information he had about Epstein and how one of his buddies from the Secret Service had told him.
former head of the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, staying with Epstein at his mansion for like weeks on end, that he played dumb and said that a source told him, when this is already widespread knowledge, okay, a source told him that Epstein worked, quote, for people in the Middle East. What country? I just don't know. And he said this in 2023. This clip is from mid-2023 when everybody in the country knew that Jeffrey Epstein worked for Mossad.
A year and a half after that, I'm in a green room at Fox, and I'm not going to say who because they didn't give me permission to share it, but well, the short story, but I know who they are. Says, you know, Epstein's an intelligence asset for people in the Middle East, right? I'm like, no, I didn't know that.
Imagine not knowing that as a podcaster. We've known that for like 15 years, you moron.
You
I'm
moron.
like, you sure of that? The person, let's say, is like, I'm absolutely sure of that. That he's either a witting or unwitting asset, intelligence asset, meaning his plane and that island.
Here he is explaining it to the dumbed down viewers that he's used to having listen to him because they're obviously completely so out of touch. Again, in 2020,
I got into it with one of those retards.
Like the boomer Fox News.
One of the Bongino
Totally
army
separate
guys,
from the
total
boomer viewers that I
retard
have.
douchebag.
I actually met a fan of mine who is, I think he's like 95 years old, and him and his lady friend, as the seniors call their girlfriends, both huge fans of me. If you're watching right now, you know who you are. But Bongino is, talking down to the audience because he's used to those boomers who only watch Fox News, who don't even know how to, use a smartphone.
And the cameras, there's a big assumption out there that these videotapes were exclusively in the custody of Epstein. That's a huge mistake. The reason they wanted this story to go away is because there's an assumption like, oh yeah, Epstein had him. No, he wasn't the only one who had him, according to this source.
I have to emphasize again for the third time that this was mid-2023, and he is talking like he's making some big revelation. You're such a cutting-edge journalist, Dan.
Telling us what we already knew.
That during his big debut, he's going to sing praises of Pam Bondi and poop thrower Kash Patel and say, well, just because you haven't seen any big major arrest doesn't mean that they're not working on it. He's going to help them kick the can down the road and until eventually nothing actually happens. And we can't forget that Pam Bondi and Poop Thrower Patel are part of the Epstein file cover-up. Remember when she said case closed? She said, oh, there's nothing else to see here. Let's just move on. And then it took the Democrats in Congress, hoping that there was some dirt in there about President Trump, to then demand that they get released. And she said, okay, fine. I guess we'll release some of them. And then it really just showed more dirt on Bill Clinton. Okay. And these photos would have never...
All right, so there you go. The grifter, the liar. If you know what, early on, and I'll be real with it. I was a fan of Dan Bongino when he was just a podcaster before he decided to go and be the deputy director of the FBI. And I said at that time, I said this is either going to go great and you're going to have like a Trump person in there to double up and oversee things, or this is going to be an absolute disaster. It's going to be a disgrace. He's going to be a disgrace, and he should not go back to podcasting. But these people, they don't give a fuck that they lie to you. They don't give a fuck that they bullshit you. They will lie and bullshit you. He'll go back to his show. He'll thank everyone for being supportive. He'll say, and he already kind of has, already said what an amazing experience it was and how great it was at the FBI. They did some really great things there. He always planned to leave within a year, and now he's back to podcasting to give you the real deal and the hard-hitting stuff. There is no shame in these people's games. Not him, not Candace Owens, not these DC Dranos and these other fake conservatives who are their grift is making money, taking your hard-earned money and making it off of all of you and turning it into a business for them. They are all insiders. They are all playing the game, and we are sitting there watching. When I made this show, it was by the people and for the people. I'm a taxpayer, blue-collar worker taxpayer that's sick of the bullshit, and I'm doing the show for blue-collar worker taxpayers that are sick of the bullshit. These people are not the same as you and I. I don't care what their background is and where they came from. Whatever they were before, they lost it and they forgot it when they rose to power and fame and got their money. Maybe they were one of us at one point. They sure as hell aren't us anymore. And real Americans need to stand up and talk about this bullshit. And talk about getting bullshit. I don't want the people lied to. I don't want you bullshitted. And I don't want you giving your money to people who don't deserve it. Because they give you some lies and grifts, and they keep you on that fishing line. They just like that old man meme. Like, you almost had it. You wanted the truth? You almost had it. People need to get away from all this shit. The Candace Owens, the Dan Bonginos. Dan Bongino, as far as I'm concerned, is literally an FBI agent that's been told to go back to being a podcaster and just fucking I grift and bullshit everybody. Project MK Ultra right here in real time. Dan Bongino coming back to podcasting. That's, as far as I'm concerned, that is fucking exactly what it is. If you want to watch the FBI's version of everything that's going on right now, tune into the Dan Bongino show. I mean, that's it. Seriously.